Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
Sometimes you gotta dial it back. On this episode, if you're within the sound of my voice on this episode, then you must be in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this audio-only experience, this podcast, where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals and pick their brain about current projects, daily industry, how they got started, and so very much more, in a light and in a conversational fashion. And if you like how we do things around here, I am going to assume that you do, because you're listening, so please keep listening. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a 5-star rating on your podcast provider of choice. We're available pretty much everywhere. Places like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and plus we archive every single one of our episodes over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So if you can give us a like and subscribe there as well, we'd absolutely appreciate it. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on social media. We're on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Letterboxd, the TikTok, the Blue Sky, the Threads. There's too many. But we're in the seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over to In the Seats, intheseats.ca for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the movie image at large. Because guess what? We love to watch it and write about it and talk about it. We love it all that much more when you come by and read about it and listen about it. So please do us that ultimate kindness, come on by and pay us a visit. On this episode, we have to dial it all the way back to TIFF 2025 for an interview that I'd almost forgotten we had done. But it was on a great movie called Little Lorraine, which is coming to theaters now, and it's the story of an North Atlantic seaside town with the tiniest of population, only 60 people, that becomes embroiled in an international cocaine smuggling operation under the noses of multiple governments as the drugs are distributed in coffins through a network of funeral homes. It's based on a true story. It's a wild, wild movie, and we had the unique chance to sit down and talk with co-writer and director Andy Hines and one of the stars of the film, Auden Thornton, before its debut at this past TIFF. We just talked about the nature of the movie and getting it done and doing the festival run and all that fun stuff. This is a really good movie. This is yet another fantastic little piece of Canadiana that you should go check out because, again, it's a darn good film, and that's what we do here in the Seats. We support darn good films. But like I said, Little Lorraine is coming to theaters this April 17th, Friday, as you're listening to this. So check your local listings. But first, enjoy our talk with co-writer director Andy Hines and star Auden Thornton, because it's a darn good talk. Talk about Stephen Amell, Stephen McCaddy. It's really a loaded little film. You'll have a lot of fun with it. It's a nice little crime drama. But enjoy the talk with Andy and Auden because, well, you'll enjoy it. I know I did. All right, well, Auden, Andy, I mean, first off, just, congratulations on the film. Man, I got to watch it last night. It's really fantastic. And I mean, just congrats on the fest and just thank you for the time today. I appreciate this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for watching.
Now, I mean, Andy, I guess my first question is for you. Like, walk me through the origin of it all, because this is more inspired by. This isn't necessarily somebody's story, right?
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out, Dave. But no, this story was told to my dear friend Adam Baldwin when he was on the way to a funeral of his good friend and bandmate years back. And the driver of the hearse asked him who he was and who was his father. And Adam told him, and he said, "Oh, well, I know your dad, and I've got a story for you." And this is the story that he told him.
Oh,
and
wow.
So Adam wrote a song about it. And then it came to me. We've been friends for 18, 19 years now. And so this came to me on his last album cycle through him and his management, asking whether or not I'd want to do a music video for the song. And I listened to it once and saw the whole movie, even the parts that aren't included in the song story. And then we used the music video to sort of show it around and get attention for it and to show people how great a movie it would be.
100%. I mean, is that what ultimately drew to you, the story? Because, I mean, obviously, song, music video, feature film, there's a bit of a leap there.
Honestly, it's part of a genre that I'm really interested in spearheading coming out of my career in music videos. And especially with my friend Adam, who's just this incredible storyteller and songwriter of adapting songs to movies is
Love
something I'm
it.
super interested in.
Very cool. Now, I mean, Auden, I guess my next question is for you. Like, walk me through your initial reactions in sort of, I guess, reading the script for the first time and then reading for the part.
Mm. So the opportunity came to me through acquaintance at that time, now dear friend Josh Close, who plays Timmy. Timmy, Andy, is that right? Oh my God. Who is,
Tommy,
oh my God, Tommy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Tommy.
a dear friend in real life, forgettable
He's
in the
amazing.
movie.
Um,
It's incredible.
said I think they had 3 weeks till filming. Emma hadn't been found
No,
yet.
less, much less. We don't
And
have to talk about how little time before filming, but yeah.
yes, down to the wire. And we'd, support each other, seen each other in things. And he was like, I think you would be really great for this. I pitched you, they're interested. Do you want to read the script? Of course. I didn't take it that seriously because he tried to cast me in other things he'd done before and it never worked out. And I was like, sure, let's see. I got, a quarter way through the script and I loved it. I loved the world. I couldn't put it down. And then to come to find what Emma goes through and what she does, it really floored me. And I was like, this is gold that just landed in my lap. This is incredible. What do I need to do? I started learning the accent that day, the best of my ability. It turned out it was kind of Irish at that time. And then put some scenes down, sent them to Andy with a little video, just telling him how I felt about all of it. And yeah, it worked out. But I was totally compelled by her and her arc and her journey.
100%. No, absolutely right. No, I mean, Andy, I mean, it's the old joke that 90% of the job is casting. And I mean, obviously you got Steven, you got Reese, you got Stephen Caddy, you got a loaded ensemble here. Talk to me a little bit about just getting all these fantastic people together to really tell this story.
Yeah, it's an incredible cast across the board, and you're right, 90% of it is casting. And I it was a such a special thing for me to be able to put it on the shoulders of my cast to carry these characters that I had formed, and I said this time and time again as well to Auden, which she can of course cite, which would be that we would enter a new scene and she would say, okay, well, what do you want me to do here? And I'd say, I'm just here to watch you work, so go get in the scene.
Sure.
Because not only her, but so many people in the film, they really got what I was after, and they really embodied that. But I didn't have too many notes for Auden. I think really I sort of blacked out a bit, but like I know I was there for it, but like I feel like Auden, I would kind of just give you kind of specific, kind of more nuanced kind of thoughts of what I was after, but I really like I really spend a lot of my time getting out of the way, right? Like if you're working with an actor who's as talented as Auden or our castmates, like it's really in your best interest to just get out of the way.
I
Can
would
you vouch for that, Auden? Was it sort of an out of body experience in directing?
I would say what was so brilliant about your notes and you gave amazing notes, but they were like a little poem almost. Like it wasn't like say it like this or play the scene like this. It was just this unconventional kind of like metaphor or something of like what if it was like this and it would just open up a moment or a scene or something in my mind. It was so creative and Andy just came with so much heart and energy each day. I feel like you really knew what you wanted and let everyone play. And that felt really important to have that container and freedom at the same time.
Yeah, I think that and as I over the years I've come to know that I guess actually being decisive is not necessarily a director's strong suit. Um, it's generally like, let's take a look at it and see what happens, and then I like that or I don't like that, and um, so I think that historically I'm actually very decisive and know exactly what I want, and so I'm able to kind of form things a little sooner or notice what's happening a little sooner, whether it's in the avenue of where it should be. Because I do know what I want, and I feel like I kind of carry that throughout my work. But this was a really special opportunity for me to be able to just kind of create these characters, have really talented cast embody them, and then sort of, have my longtime cinematography collaborator Jeff Powers, you know, create the framework for it.
Well, and that's something I want to talk to you about because, and I want both your perspectives on this, but Andy, we'll start with you because in watching it, there was this real sinister undercurrent to it, just in how it looked and how it felt. And I mean, from an obvious standpoint, obviously there's Steve McCaddy there, but at the same time, you got that from the entire town, and you kind of got that from everybody. How did you manage to sort of instill this very sort of subtle undercurrent of, this, nasty shit can happen in a small town?
Yeah, I think that, you know, aesthetically, Jeff and I really wanted to create a palette and a feeling in the film that would have an element like what you're describing that would not push our viewer in one direction or another
Right.
with the cinematography. We didn't want to, because no spoilers or anything, but in the third act, things become very different and very unpredictable in a way that we didn't want to telegraph any of that with the cinematography. And we didn't want to have things be one way and then become another. We wanted to have, which is often actually just sort of filmic language, that you do evolve a palette or the lighting style or the way that characters are captured. But there's one of the biggest twists of all times in the third act of this film, and Jeff and I really wanted to maintain like a commitment to the aesthetic so that you would never really see that coming.
Yeah.
Or you would never feel that coming in a way, because of how we had lit it or how we had colored it and this kind of thing.
Auden, how was that for you as an actor? Because I mean, quite literally, so many of these characters, there's nobody good, there's nobody bad. Everyone's kind of existing in these, degrees of gray.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Just for you as an actor to sort of play in the space where it's not like you're a good person or a bad person. There's
Yes.
these shades of gray that everyone has to sort of live in.
Yes, yes. That's what one of the main things that compelled me to the piece is that three-dimensional, actual complex humans doing the best they can, most of the time with the best intentions, pushed up against a wall and just doing things that are shocking even to themselves. None of them expected to be having the experiences and making the choices that they end up making. And I think what I felt from the piece, just from how I read it and who I am and what I think Emma served, is like there's still this love propelling things. Not to sound trite, but it's like it's a metronome, it's a fast drum. People are on
Yeah.
tight wire, but it's like, okay, what choice do we make now? What do we do now to keep what matters to us together? And even from the beginning, Jimmy is somewhat being haunted, whether it's dealing with his sobriety or the night terrors or intuition of what's happening. It's like this ominous feeling. So I hope that answered the
No,
question.
I mean, I think it does. And I mean, it leads to sort of my next question for both of you. And again, I'll start with Andy. I'm curious just on how you create sort of this sense of ensemble, especially in a small fishing town. Like, I mean, you guys are probably fairly remote, and it's like it's all for one, one for all kind of thing. How did you manage to sort of get the team sort of pointed in the right direction, as it were?
That's a good question. I think that, the characters in this film, like everybody is of consequence.
Yeah.
And I think everybody fits into this puzzle within Little Lorraine that is of consequence. And if you really, on a second viewing of the film, you'll notice certain characters that are in scenes that you didn't realize they were on first viewing. And on second viewing, you realize that the cast the ensemble that is the featured extras and the people that play the community members. On second viewing, you start to realize that they were always there and that they were always a part of all of what was going on. But pulling this cast together and and getting just physically getting some of these folks to the Maritimes was such a unique undertaking. But everybody was compelled by the characters, and we it's really such lightning in a bottle, I guess, is the best expression that I can get for how we got this cast together and for how it all unfolded.
I would also just like to say I feel that I witnessed Andy um, as a very generous leader. I can't imagine what it would be like to be shooting this epic film on an indie budget, indie time frame, all these people. Everyone wanted to be there with all of themselves. And Andy was very generous in whoever he was speaking to. It was like they were the main character in that moment. And just giving that time and I really don't know how you managed to do it because you had a relaxed um ability to just drop in with whoever was in the scene, didn't matter how many lines they have, and talk about backstory and everything. So I know that must have been part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that. I do think though that I think that that's a part of my voice in filmmaking. Like the filmmakers that I admire and that I aspire to sort of fall into the canon of are ensemble cast filmmakers. And I feel like it's a natural method, I think, for my voice as a filmmaker to create the world that way. And that if I were not to do that, I feel like you would feel gaps in the world of things, because the guy hammering a coffin like feels as important. Example too is like on the second viewing, you're like, oh yeah, he was in this other scene, which means he did hear this go on and he did see this and he was there for that and he lost his job as well and he is looking, do you know what I mean? And so I really want to give the whole world like the space that it needs to like really come to life, you know?
Auden, how rare is that to get as an actor? Because this isn't, like we were saying, this isn't the Stephen Amell movie with a bunch of other people. This is a living, breathing thing, and every actor is important. Everyone's voice is important, and every moving part has value and drives the entire narrative. And I mean, it's not something you get to see every day, especially when you pick up a script.
It's such an amazing ensemble piece. And yeah, it's called Little Lorraine. It's about a community. It's not about one person. It's about how each little thing in our web of connectivity will pluck and the ripple effect will affect everything. But how rare is it to be in an ensemble or to work with someone like Andy?
I would say this is sort of to have such a true ensemble like this.
You know, it reminds me of theater. It is more rare. It is quite rare. I'm even thinking of the movies I've seen recently. Typically, it's like a two-hander
Right.
or a one guy. And this, it was really unique. I think it's my first time really being on film in something like this, where you feel that ensemble nature so strongly. And we
Love
felt,
that. Love that.
yeah.
No, I mean, just to start putting a bow on this, Andy, I gotta ask, because obviously, like you've directed a bunch of stuff, but this is the first time doing a feature. Is there anything you now know at the tail end of the process that you kind of wish you knew at the beginning of the process of making a feature film?
That's a great question. I think that, throughout my career in short form work, TV commercials, brand campaigns, pop music videos, um, I was using everything as practice for my eventual film career. And so I think that I arrived to this first movie with certainly beyond my 10,000 hours of set time. So I did arrive to it with a different feeling in my body for that first day, like I wasn't nervous about anything. I knew what I needed to do. But I think that at the end of it, that feeling that I had on my first day that made me confident and capable to move forward and get what I needed and get what I wanted. I think that I didn't realized that no matter how well it's going, at the end of it, I still lost a piece of myself, like emotionally. Like
Right.
I wasn't as aware of how physically and emotionally draining the experience of making a movie is. And I think that in some ways that every movie I make, and I have, 9 stories that I want to tell, uh, I'll leave a little piece of myself behind with each of them, but that piece ends up on screen. And I didn't have a perception for how that, would unfold.
For sure. For sure.
Um, if that answers your question, I don't know, but
No, I think it does. I
um,
think it does because I mean, I can
I
imagine.
wasn't aware that I would lose that. I thought I would still be whole at the end of it. Um, I don't need that piece of me back that I lost, through the process of it. It's in the film now. And I didn't realize that that's maybe, I think that that might be the experience in some regard for many directors or filmmakers, but I wasn't aware of that. I thought that I had done my practice and that I would move into this and end it in a different way than I did. But I'm now aware of what it takes to make a movie, and I'm moving forward. I'm willing to continue to endeavor in that, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, it's a testament to you as a filmmaker and Auden you as an actor, just sort of the willingness to throw yourself into a piece like this and make what is ultimately a really beautiful piece of work. But I mean, last question, I got to ask this to both of you. Based on geography alone, please tell me that some of those lobsters made it to catering, because just it feels like it would have been a crime otherwise if it hadn't.
Uh,
Good lobster.
you know what? That every lobster in this movie was part of a lobster rescue mission on behalf of multiple grocery stores and grocery chains across Cape Breton, and wharfs buying lobster from fishermen who had toiled at early hours of the morning while we were only to be bought by our prop master and production designer, filmed in the movie, and then relinquished back to the sea from whence they came.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah. They didn't know how good they had it. They didn't get a SAG card out of it or anything, but yeah, they did get their freedom. So we
wow.
ate other lobsters.
That is the
Adam
sacrifice of
Adam
independent
Baldwin
filmmaking.
orchestrated like
Absolutely.
one of the most amazing wrap party lobster boils that it'll go down in history.
Yep.
Well, I mean, guys, just again, congrats on the work and congrats on the ride you're about to have at the festival. I'm so happy for you, and just both of you, just thank you for the work. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
really excited.
Likewise. All right.
Thanks for your time, David.
You're very
Yeah.
welcome, guys. Talk to you soon. And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.